Hey guys, welcome back to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today we are going to cover some possibilities for turbocharger failures that are avoidable and things I've learned the hard way along the way. I think it'll save you some money and give you some insight onto how these things work. Alright, so I've made videos covering the fact and the efficacy of a silicone style coupler. If you want to look at some of our archives, I talk about how a bead roll is more than adequate for holding 40 plus pounds of boost. In fact, I've proven it time and time again. These are the same silicone couplers I've been running for years on my 72 Gen 5 LT Nova that makes just under 2,000 horsepower and like I said, runs silicone couplers. The one downfall and the one problem can be is when you're installing them, if you don't pay proper attention or you don't have a proper bead roll on it, you can blow the silicone couplers off. Not only is that inconvenient, you might lose a race, cause problems, might hit your hood, dent it up, or crack the fiberglass, whatever. It can also be detrimental to your turbocharger. I learned this from Tristan Kimball, who is an employee of ours, used to work for Precision Turbo. It really gave me some insight on some past turbocharger failures I've had from several different brands, things I've seen from other people, and then as well as an understanding on when I need to maintenance things. So inside the turbocharger is of course a shaft that connects the turbine side and the compressor side. What people think of as the turbo seals on a turbo, I think a lot of people think of like a pinion seal or a transmission drive shaft seal, rear output shaft seal or an input shaft seal, and nothing could be further from the truth. They're basically a gapless piston ring of sorts. The shaft rides on it, it has really close tolerances, and that keeps the oil from leaving this direction or this direction. So now that you know that, you understand how those work. Well, a turbocharger can spin 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 RPMs, depending on what turbocharger is, its efficiency, and that's a lot of RPMs. That little shaft is just moving. It's usually riding on a journal bearing or a ball bearing. Well, what happens if you blow a silicone coupler is that resistance, when it was running 60,000 RPM, is now gone, and it zings. 100, 150,000 RPMs, whatever. And what happens when that occurs, you have mass on each sides of the shaft, aka the wheels. It actually stretches that inner shaft that's holding everything because you have two forces working against themselves and you're freewheeling. So when that happens, you're way past the design specification and the limits of the parts as they were designed to be used. When it stretches, even minutely, you open up that gap on the ring or the seal, and that's where oil starts puking out. So very commonly, people will blow a silicone coupler off, think nothing of it, put the car back together, and then, a month down the road or whenever they're servicing it, they'll pull everything apart and they'll notice that the inside of their either turbine housing or the compressor housing is just coated with oil. It might be smoking, like I said, it might be dripping oil inside the cover, and you're like, this piece of crap, turbo, whatever brand it is, and you get all mad and tell everybody, well, what you don't realize is you haven't correlated the reason with why it has done that. And like I said, this doesn't pick on any brand, it's across the board, it's gonna happen. Now, some might have a little bit more robust shaft inside of the actual cartridge, so maybe it's a little less susceptible, but I've seen on every brand, every style turbo, and it's almost without fault, especially, say you're at the top end of the track making 40 pounds of boost, and you're at 7,000 RPM and that coupler blows off, you're gonna have some trouble. It's probably almost safe enough to just pull the turbocharger off, send it in for repair before it causes any more damage, aka the wheel bottoming out, putting oil into your intake, or messing up an O2 to where that starts reading faulty. All of those situations can occur. So be cognizant about it. This actually happened to me earlier this year. One of the times I put my car together, I just really didn't pay attention, and I had everything a little bit too loose. It popped both of the coupler, or one of the couplers off, and sure enough, a month later when I took it all apart just to service things, oil everywhere. Sent it in, had it rebuilt. It was a fraction of cost of new to have it rebuilt at that time, and we were back down the road. So a lot of people don't know that that can happen and what causes it and what causes oil leaks. There's obviously other issues that can cause seal damage, a misbalanced wheel can cause it, things going through stuff, a little bit of everything, but that's definitely one of the major causes, something to look out for. If this happens to you, pay attention to it, consider sending it out for repair, or at least keeping an eye on it. So you might be asking yourself, hey Doug, how can I avoid any of these problems happening to me? I got a solution for you. There's two potential ways to avoid it. One is to use like an O-ringed aluminum V-band with a quick release. We sell these at Motion in 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4 inch pipe sizes. So you can use that and weld right to the end of your turbo, and then on your charge pipe, avoid it forever. This doesn't give you as much flexibility as our new quick seal clamps. These basically are a Wiggins style clamp. They've been around forever. We made our own version of it, and basically our take on it has a dual hinge design, so it's easy to fish around tight spots and get in there and install. And then it basically has a flexible joint. I guess it's called like a dual O-ring style joint. There's an O-ring on both style flanges. This is actually for a throttle body, but you would typically have 2 weld flanges, and then this pushes over it and you have a little bit of flexibility on that joint. Very strong for pressure and holding things. Both of these options are not going to blow out like a silicone coupler. I know in the past I've always said, you know, there's no need for anything more, but obviously as we push things a little bit harder and further and understand some of the downfalls, there's definitely some situations that call for having a V-band or a Wiggins, a Motion quick seal style connector. These are available in 4 and 3 inch right now. And if you're watching this video more than a few weeks after the release, it's probably also available in 2.5 and 3.5. We're working on all the sizes. Unique solutions for problems that you run into. Anyways, now you have a better understanding of not only how a turbine oil seal works, but also what to look for when it potentially goes bad. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have ideas for another Tech Tip Tuesday, drop them down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.